Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is May 9th, 2025, and this is the Denver Business Beat Podcast. My name is Arica Netterville, and my very special guest today is Donald Hahn. How you doing?
Good. How are you, Arica?
I'm amazing. Thanks for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
I'm excited to do a deep dive in all things with your business today and consulting and you being this conduit in Denver. We're going to get into that conversation as well. Before we get into all of that, can you tell us a little bit about where you're from, where you went to school, where you grew up?
Sure. I'm originally from Buffalo, New York.
Buffalo!
The sunny part. There is a spot that's sunny. I moved here 4 years ago. I've had my consulting business for 25 years. But I moved here 4 years ago because my youngest daughter was pregnant and I got a 3-year-old that I chase around but I never catch. So that's why I came out.
Is that your only grandchild?
No, I got 5 of them.
Whoa!
Yeah, there's a bunch over in Buffalo still, but I wanted to spend this part of my life with my youngest daughter. So.
And how do you feel your transition to Denver and moving here west?
You know, I love the weather. You guys get a lot of snow. We get a lot of snow, but it goes away.
Yeah.
In Buffalo, it doesn't go away.
Yeah, it doesn't go
for
away.
5 months. So I like it here. It's a little bit of a sticker shock on price from Buffalo, because Buffalo is a tertiary city.
Yeah.
But the stuff to do here is incredible. Day trips, you know, the hiking and that sort of thing. So I'm enjoying it immensely.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, we're excited that you're here. And Denver is a very welcoming city. It lets you come in and gives you all these connections and meeting new people. And I'm really ecstatic because in your 3 years, 4 years, my 3 years, 4 years, Denver's just rolled out the welcome mat, and you and I both have had all this success that's happening. You and I go to a lot of networking events, we're at a lot of functions. I'm a connector, you're a conduit. And he gave us at Restoration One of West Denver a connection through Mr. Reuter at Denver, and they just recently gave us their first job with us, and it's a big ticket job, and that kind of connection is what business is all about here in Denver, and I'm super duper excited, over the moon to know you and connect you and get to know a little bit more about your business. And it's Hahn Consulting.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about the structure and some of the levels in your business that you do, because you don't do just business coaching. You do so much more.
Yeah, you know, I'm kind of a unicorn in that sense. There's a lot of business coaches out there. There's a lot of people that do EOS integration, and there's a lot of people that do psychometric assessments with DISC and emotional quotient. I actually do all three. I combine them together, and my responsibility is to integrate seamlessly people, processes, and strategy, so that the business owner or the executive is able to achieve everything they can out of their business.
Yeah. You just recently did a big presentation down in TTC at B2B Exchange. I was like, wow, the level of your business and what you're helping a CEO or a CEFO. One of the words and phrases that kind of stuck out to me was fractional CFO. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yep. Actually, I was doing fractional before it became a word. 25 years ago, I was the chief sales officer for many companies in Buffalo. I transitioned that, and when I came to understand traction and the value it had 10 years ago, an EOS integrator is somebody that jumps in directly in the company and gets their hands dirty. They roll up their sleeves and they keep the trains running on time. So I act as a COO, but I also bring in the HR element and the people, getting the right people in the right seats, creating accountability, a strategic plan. So basically, that's what I do, And why I'm different, because I come at it integrating people and operationally creating operational improvements. And I believe that people are the most important thing in the company.
I think it's good that you dive into the CEO portion of it. When a CEO or entrepreneur, solopreneur starts their business, they've got this vision. And a lot of the times the vision was really great, and that's what really started this amazing business. 5-10 years goes by, they've gotten this traction, they've built this business, they have employees, and they get off the roadmap.
Oh yeah.
All the time. Tell us a little bit about some of those struggles that maybe what they envisioned 10 years ago, due to market, employees, processes, tariffs, everything that changes in business so much. How does that affect that type of a CEO maybe 8 to 10 years later?
Yeah, that's a good question. CEOs, if you're an entrepreneur and you're a serial entrepreneur, you like building companies, you like that bright shiny object. You go after visionary stuff, but implementing is not really in your blood necessarily. So there's some key points or key inflection points for companies. When they get to 1 million, it's order of magnitude change from what it was. 3 million, 10 million, 100 million, huge changes. So the processes that they had, that they originally had when they were this big, don't work anymore. The other thing is that remarkably, very few companies have a written strategic plan, and even fewer have an execution plan. So that's where they get off track, is they have this want. They want to get to another level, but it's not really reverse engineered to a tactical basis. So what we have to do with entrepreneurs and owners is help them reverse engineer a 10-year plan to a 3-year plan, and then a 1-year plan, and then 90 days. So my job is to create focus on executing the strategic plan tactically in a 3-month window. That's all my executives view, because if they make the quarter, make the second one, make the third one, make the fourth one, they usually blow away the year. So I think really what happens is the executive, the business outgrows them to a certain degree, and they need some outside intervention, because if you're part of the system, it's hard to break out and fix it. So I have the luxury of looking at it from a different perspective.
And we're going to dive into that too. I'm really happy that you brought that up. It's going to segue into this next question. When you go into the business and you're meeting with the CEO or the business owner, tell us a little bit about sometimes how it can be the leadership team is why the train has gotten off the track, or sometimes it's the wrong employees and that's derailing the train. Or that third issue is the CEO or business owner should really step back. What are some of those nuances that you're seeing when you go into the business and you're starting to do your assessment?
Well, the thing that strikes me is that most entrepreneurs that are leading an organization, they don't have a job description. It's whatever they want to do. And there's no guardrails. And so that's one of the issues. And as they grow their leadership team, there's often dysfunctions within that team. Friction or not the right person. So what I do is I'm certified in Lencioni's 5 dysfunctions of a team. So maybe I'll work with them to help them understand what are the dysfunctions. And it's usually about trust and communications. So doing that is one thing. And you go on to say, as people grow, my experience is that frontline, mid-level management is horrible at interviewing and hiring. Because it's not their part of their job. It's actually more of a pain than anything. So they don't spend the time, they don't have the expertise. So I help them with the right people in the right seats, which is one of the EOS foundations. We strive to get 100% of the people on the bus in the right seats.
Yeah.
If there isn't, you stop and you ask them to get off.
Right.
There's no
Hard
way.
decisions.
It is, and emotionally people don't want to do that.
Yeah.
It's tough firing someone,
Right.
but usually you find
or
out,
moving someone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I was working with one company, about a $200 million manufacturing company,
Mm-hmm.
and they had a great process organization. It was a good foundation of a company, but they had one person that was a founder, and the CEO would not remove him. So we went in, I did some coaching for him, and we moved him because he's brilliant. I mean, he was like, he had the keys to everything.
Huh.
But his people skills were absolutely horrendous. No empathy, dictatorial. So we put the wizard behind the curtain and made him, the intellectual property person for the whole company, and he thrived. And we did an employee survey a year after. We did one in the first, and it was horrible. Second one, attrition was down. People were motivated. They were happier. They saw that they'd be with the company in 5 years.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, you got to get those bad apples in another barrel, or throw them away. You have to.
I'm happy you brought that up too. In your initial assessment, and that might take 2 or 3 days of seeing the inner workings of the business, you do an assessment as a body of labor that you're dependent upon as the business owner to produce whatever it is in the business. Asking that kind of question to an employee or a manager, do you see yourself here in 5 years? Oh my God, I didn't even think about that. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? And if you're not saying the company that you're at, there's a problem with your people that are either unmotivated, like you said, unhappy, or mismanaged. I think that was a really great aha second there that a lot of business owners really need to tap into, and bringing someone in that's an outsider that doesn't have any judgment, doesn't know the backstory, doesn't know Helen used to be the receptionist and now she's the accountant, and all of those issues, I think is a really great way to do a deep dive in the business and see what is actually malfunctioning. And I like the analogy that you use, guardrails, because that without those guardrails, that's how a business can get off the track and end up closing its doors because every single thing is wrong. What is your insight on quarterly reporting?
Quarterly reporting as an organization, it's good, not good enough. Quarterly is good, but if you're really gonna have results, you've got to have a scorecard.
Okay.
Where you've defined the major processes that have to happen. And they're mission critical. There's not more than 8 in any company, but there's too many processes. People don't follow them. So what we do at EOS is we provide what we call a level 10 meeting. It's a weekly meeting.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Every meeting we go through their scorecard. And the problem with most meetings is they don't start on time, they don't end on time, and they go all over the map.
And the donuts are dry.
Yeah, exactly. So we provide what are called level 10 meetings, which we rate the meeting. After every meeting, we ask people, scale of 1 to 10, where does it fall?
Sure.
Level 10 meetings, because most of them are about a level 3 as we ask people. But we look at the scorecards, and we look at, is it positive, negative, and it's all visual. It's red, yellow, green. The red areas, yellow areas we look at, and we just identify what the issue is. We don't try to solve it then and go off into tangents. Then we drop that issue down. And then at the end of that, we do root cause analysis because people try to fix the symptom. They don't go to the root cause. So we dig into the root cause, we discuss it, and we solve it right there. We kill the issue dead.
Wow.
So they never see it again. And that happened with this one manufacturer had a gazillion RMAs. They were choking on, the redos. and it was causing customer concerns, and they just couldn't get out of the way. Every single meeting was taken up by that.
Yeah.
So we did root cause analysis. We found out what the issue was. We modified it, assigned it to somebody, and the problem went away.
Do some of them say this could have been an email?
No, that's the thing. People, the foundation of any company is the people, and people, they have to be agile. They got to be open to change, and most of us don't do change well. So that's where I coach people to help them get outside of that comfort zone.
Sure.
Okay, so they can stretch, and with coaching, you don't give them answers. You just ask them questions, and then they have to go through, solve it, and through that pain and that discomfort comes the aha moment, and then that's when the light bulb goes on. That's when a coach is successful. But most companies, they're supervising and they think they're mentoring. They're mentoring and they think they're coaching. So very few people know what coaching truly is and how to hold people accountable. So, weekly reviews with an individual, not on the stuff, but what's holding them back.
Yeah.
So managers have a one-on-one and they jump into the metric right away.
Yeah.
Leave that to the end. You have to get to them. But what's more critical is how's that person feeling about their connection to the job, how they doing with the tasks that they're given, and what questions and what impediments are there, and then you just help them work through the issue.
Yeah. If your company isn't having that scorecard, if you're not having that Zoom, if you're not having that face-to-face, if you're not having a good one-on-one where you're holding your people accountable, and not just the employees, but the management team.
Oh, yeah.
When I came to Restoration One of West Denver, as a manager, I had the first one-on-one that maybe I've had in years.
Really?
Years. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to set in a one-on-one.
Yeah.
And I was nervous and everything. And he's like, no, you're doing a great job. And, these are just things to help, to review, to look at are you moving the dial? That's the biggest thing.
Exactly. And, I think that people have trepidation over one-on-one.
Yeah, it could be a little unnerving.
It can be if the manager doesn't know how to do a one-on-one and how to do coaching. Instead, I had a manager once. I never seemed to do anything right. He would tell me every time I did something wrong, wouldn't recognize when I did something right, and he'd redo stuff that I did. So after a while, I stopped doing anything.
Yeah, that causes that customer, that employee to be demoralized.
Oh yeah, and you're not.
You're like, I'm never going to make you happy. I'm never going to please you. So why try?
Yeah.
Then you're losing everything, momentum. You're losing eventually the staff. They'll walk away.
No doubt about it.
What would be your words for someone who's getting into consulting or business coaching or fractional CEO? What would you say to someone wanting to get into that business?
There's not a lot of barriers to entry. There's a lot of barriers to success. So you can hang a shingle, get your certifications, but the reality is, are you picking up and putting it down? And first and foremost, consulting, it's a sales job.
Yeah.
You can't consult anything if you haven't sold it.
Right.
So I have my background as a Sandler sales franchise owner for 15 years back in Buffalo, and I cut my teeth on sales. I did it for a Fortune 500 company, and I built out their entire sales program, CRM, playbooks, all that. Then I left the company, started up my business, but make no bones about it. You can't consult with anything if you can't sell it. So business development and sales is huge. That's why I do 5 networking events every single week.
Yeah, you are definitely a mover and shaker in the Denver metro area.
That's not easy. 5 sessions is
a lot.
Brutal.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah.
I'm exhausted.
There it is, yes.
God almighty. And then, I one up everybody because I photograph everything. So, 1 is I want you to know I was at that networking event. 2, I'm tagging the people that were at that networking event. 3, people are seeing that she's working so hard, she's so committed, she's doing everything. And then my employer is seeing that day, throughout the whole day, she was here, she was there, she was networking, she's getting this, she's making those connections.
Yes.
A lot of sponsoring foods and network events and functions, so that I can get my business name tagged into the event as well. I'm really excited about that. I thank you so much for, number one, for giving us a good deep dive into all things consulting and a little bit of business development, a little bit of sales, a little bit of all the things that he does. And then those connections. You've made really incredible connections with people, and I love getting an email from you. Hey, I think you two would do good business, and you start talking, you do a one-on-one, and boom, you're having a new client. So it happens just that fast, and I'm grateful for the connection with you, and excited to see where your business is going over the next year. And you're really gaining that traction and that momentum. Also want to let you know, on your recommendation, we recently joined the Aurora Chamber. So yay! Restoration One is of West Denver is one of the newest members with the Aurora Chamber. So I put a few things on my calendar, and I'll be coming to some networking events. And again, that's all from you and the traction that you're getting us. And my business owners see the worth in that, and we're grateful and thankful for that. So I ask every single one of my guests these next two questions. If little Dawn could go back to 15 years old, what would be the thing that you would say to prepare you for where you're at in the seat right now?
Wow. That's a tough one. Great question. If I could go back, the thing that maybe would make the biggest contribution to what I do today, I'm a lifelong learner, but my IT skills are horrible. I don't think like that.
Yeah.
And I think if I could have had the discipline to become better at IT, and I don't want to be a techie. I mean, I'm so far away from a techie.
But it's so important.
Oh yeah, to save time, the time and energy as a solopreneur to do the billing and do the outreach.
CRM.
The CRM. How's yours going?
Oh my God. It's insane because, at work we have one that's called Proven CRM, and I've pretty much 65%, 70% of that I've gotten down. Of course, you all know I've been in plumbing, heating, cooling, electric for 25 years and now transitioned into restoration. So to do a career shift at 50 has been woo! And then for my podcast, we have our own CRM. So whenever I'm getting a business card, I'm scanning it, and then it automatically puts it into the CRM for me, and then it automatically schedules with the AI assistant that email that goes out to talk about my media kit and me and getting to know me and thanks for, following and all of the things. We're going to ask this next question. What would be the legacy that you'd want to leave for your family, your friends, the grandbaby, your colleagues at 90? What would that legacy look like?
Well, I actually believe in mission statements, and I built it. And I think the measure of a person is the legacy they leave. So I don't want any regrets. And in addition, I want to make sure that everybody I touched benefited in a positive fashion. Yeah. And I think that's about the best you can do, because things come at you. Yeah. But it's a matter of, leaving this world feeling that you did good. Yeah. You did good. Yeah. And that's about all you can ask for. It's so important. And I had one guy write his mission statement was, came up with 2 words. No regrets. Well, there you have it. Which I thought was great, because you don't do anything that you would regret, and it really keeps your values alive. Yeah. So, yeah. Can you give us all of your handles, the website for the business, where to connect with you on LinkedIn? Sure. My email is dhahn, H-A-H-N, at champtrainer, champtrainer.com. My website is champtrainer.com. And I've had that many years, but I train champions. Is kind of how I put it together, and I've created some processes around that. As far as getting a hold of me, I am on YouTube. I'm on LinkedIn, and my handle is Sales Gurus. So with that, if you need to reach me, 716-432-5741. I'd be happy to connect.
Yeah.
And thank you.
You're absolutely welcome. Maybe your business has been a little stagnant. Maybe you're going in a million different ways and spinning your wheels. Having that outside source come in and do a deep dive in everything that's going on with your business, good and bad. It's not all to just say this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. It's also to identify this is right and this management is good and this track that you're going on is good, but these people or this process or you might be your own problem as well. There's so many words that we're using here in 2024 and 2025, moving the dial, measuring, gauging, deep dive into analytics, AI, cybersecurity. As a business owner, all that's coming at you so fast and you're trying to acclimate that. Let someone come in and give you the help that you need that doesn't know anything about Betty at the back that gossips with Cindy and they're not doing any work. Let them find that out and then bring those types of issues to the forefront for you, for your business, so that you can really make those changes and then have a better quarter and a better quarter, and then before you know it, you've got 25% increase in profit in the business and things are going smoothly. I love that some of the things you talked about on the show today, scorecard, doing an assessment, doing the first assessment to see what those employees are saying, and then a year later where we're at and what we're doing. I mean, most business coaches 3-4 months, a couple weeks, then they're on to the next client. To send something a year later to see how those are doing really does show that the benchmark is high. So I really have enjoyed our conversation today. And thanks for giving us a deep dive into all things, Don.
Thank you.
Yes, and very welcome here to the Denver metro area. I'm excited that you have made this your home, as have I. And we're continuing to bring you movers and shakers in the Denver metro area. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Arica Netterville, and I've been your host today here at the Denver Business Beat Podcast. Thanks for watching and tuning in, subscribing, following, and liking on all of our platforms. And we'll see you on the next episode. Have a great day.